Okay, so good morning, guys. So have you gone through the test recording? Any questions do you have?
I just gone through the yesterday recording. You can see it's a old one week old video, and I just tried to install VirtualBox in my system, but it's saying this app is not compatible with your laptop. So I'm thinking one day I will come to that basic technology.
What Windows
Get it
operating
installed.
system you're using? Windows, which version you're using? Olenges, can you hear me? Okay, so Olenges, can you hear me, guys?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, fine. So fine then, so let's continue. So the last command that we have discussed, that union space -a, that was the last command that we have discussed. Okay, so still we are in the first unit, so let's continue. So now, with the help of the union space -a, we can have the more details on the operating system. What is the version? What is the kernel version? So what operating system you are using it, date and time of the operating system, that all the details that we can see. Let's continue. The next one we have the types of desktop. So if we come to the types of desktop, we have actually the two types of desktop we have. So that the first one we have the Gnome, and the second one we have the KD we have. In the types of desktop, we have the two types of desktop. The first one is Gnome, and the second one we have the KD desktop we have. What is the Gnome and what is the KD? Gnome, the full form it is GNU's Network Object Module Environment. Gnome full form it is GNU's Network Object Module Environment. So this is by default that which we are using it. In all the flavor of the Linux, by default, you will be having the Gnome desktop, you will be having it. So what about the next one then? It's a cool desktop environment. KD full form it is cool desktop environment. KD desktop, it is not installed by default. KD desktop, it's not installed by default. In the future, that if you wanted to have it, you have to go for volume install KD star space -y. So this is the command that you have to go for and install it. But as of now, you cannot go for it. You have to wait for some more days for this. Okay. So once I come to this concept, that I will tell you that how you will be able to install on that. Guys, online guys, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this package, you cannot install it. So I'm just giving the package name here. In the future that you can try, make sure that if you wanted to go for KD desktop, you must be have the nearly 2 GB free space. More than 2 GB free space, you must be have it. To launch the one more desktop, lot of packages is going to install for this. Okay. So now from the command prompt, how do we know that what desktop we are using it? Yesterday I have given one command to see that what operating system we are using. What is the command for that? hyphen, not E.
And
A for all. I'm asking that the particular command for that. Yes, you have to go for the command that the uname space hyphen O for operating, sorry, O for operating system. So if you go for this command, I said that O for operating system, we are using the Linux operating system, we are using it. But can you see that before that we have GNU, then what desktop we are using? Gnome or KDE? Gnome we are using it. Suppose if you have here KDE, which you are using the KDE desktop. Okay, see the Gnome desktop, if you wanted to see that, so this is the one that which we are having it. This is the Gnome desktop. So if you go for the KDE, no, it looks like
Just one question I have.
1 minute.
What is the difference between GNU? Yeah,
Let me complete this concept, then you can ask the question. Okay. So this KDE desktop which you're having it looks like the Windows operating system. In the Windows, if you click on that start, that all the application will open. So then whichever you want, you can access it. Is it the same thing the KDE desktop it looks, and the concept wise, command wise, everything same. Only the graphical picture, it looks like the Windows operating system. Okay. So now here, if you come to the Gnome, so we have the multiple options. And before going for that, so I said that with the help of this command, we have the Gnome and KDE. So in the command that you can see that we are using the Gnome desktop. So by default, in all the flavor of Linux, by default, you have the Gnome desktop. Then what is the difference of this? And we have that only the desktop difference that we have. Apart from that, it's no difference. Concept-wise, command-wise, everything that we have, the same we have. It's going to launch the one more desktop, that's all. If you wanted to, suppose in case that, assume that you have Gnome and KDE, both you have. At the time of logging in, you can choose what desktop you wanted. So now we are having only Gnome. So that is what you're not getting the options to go for KDE desktop. If you have both, you can choose that. Okay. Next one. So now here that in the Gnome desktop, where and all, what all the options that we have. If you wanted to see that, so here, see, we have the application and places and system. But in the Windows, if you click on start, all the application will open. No, the same thing we have here. Let's go for one by one. So here we have the first one, it's application. In the applications, we have the accessories. In the accessories, we have the multiple options and graphics we have here. And after that, internet, sound and videos and system too. And if you come to the second one, we have the places. In the places home folder, desktop, documents, music, picture, videos, downloads, computer. See here that we have the computer. But if you go for the Windows operating system, we have my computer we have. What are all these options which we have seen the same, like in the Windows also we have the almost the same. Downloads, document, that all it's the same that we have. And the next one, here the data. So he has created one partition. So ignore that. And here the network. If you wanted to do IP, if you wanted to set it, or network related, any changes that if you wanted to do it through the graphically, you have to go for this option. Connect to server. If you wanted to connect from one server to another server. Okay, so in Windows to Windows, how do you connect? Assume I have one Windows server, another Windows server, I have to connect it. So what is the tool by default you have in the operating system to connect it? Correct. Correct. So remote desktop, RDP. Have you heard? So I have one Linux server, another Linux server. If I wanted to connect it, you have to go for RDP. That is a remote desktop. The same thing that Linux to Linux, if you wanted to connect to the graphically, you have to go for connect to server. But in further classes, we will see this from the command prompt, we will see. Okay. So the next one, search for a file. Might be you have kept somewhere the file you have forgot. If you wanted to find out, you will go for a search for a file to the graphically. So the next one we have the system. In the system, we have the import. In the system, we have the first one, it's a preferences. In the preferences, this all it's an operating system related. Keyboard language setting, display setting, that all you can do it. The very important one that we have the administration. In the administrations, you can see that add and remove software. So in this add and remove software, that just some time back, I have showed you one command. Yum install KD star space -y. That is from the command prompt, you will be installing the package. The same functions, if you wanted to do it from the command prompt, that you have to go here. Sorry, to the graphical, if you wanted to install it, you have to go here. From the command prompt, already I have showed you, you have to go for yum install KD star space -y. So the next one, we have the authentication and date and time. Already, you must have seen that in yesterday's video, how you have to change the date and time of the system. So to the graphically, if you wanted to do it, you have to come here. So the next one, it's a firewall you have. And the next one, it's kernel crash dump printing. So what is the function of the printer? Print the document. So how many types of printer we have? What are all that? Means?
There's a inkjet printers and non-inkjet laser printers and advanced.
So here that we have the two types of printer we have. So one is the local printer and the network printer. See, local printer, normally what happens, we keep one printer at home for any emergency if you wanted to print the document. Might be I have one desktop, I have laptop that is connected for that printer. But if you go for the organizations, do they give the printer for all of them? No. So then if you wanted to print the document, what do? To the network you will print. They will not be able to give the printer for each guy. So they are going to make one centralized printer. You must be have seen the outside shops. You have the big Xerox white color machine, is it? The same thing, they keep it the advanced one where you can open the mail and through that you will be able to print the document directly. Or else from your system also you can print it. You can take the Xerox, you can take the color printout, you can scan it, you can open your email, that all the advanced one they keep it in the organization. You will be having the limit. So that we call as a quota. So per month, you will be able to print. In my organizations, they have given the limit, it's at 50 pages. Okay. So behind that might be, I wanted to print one project related document. So already have finished the 50 pages. Still, I wanted to have another 50 or 100 pages document. If I wanted to print it, you have to write an email for the IT guys to extend the quota. So might be another 100 pages. Adding your manager. If your manager is going to reply on that approved, then they're going to add the more quota. They will add it to your account. You will be able to print it. Okay. So that all it comes on this under network. It comes the quota concept. Red Hat subscription manager RHN registration. So if you're going to register with the Red Hat network, all the updates you will be getting it. Okay. It's not free. It's a paid one. You have to pay some dollars. Quarterly plan, yearly plan, you will be having it. So the next one, services. To the graphically, if you want to manage any of the services, you can go here. Software update. And the next one you have here, user and group. So if you wanted to create the user, delete the user, that all through the graphical, you can do it. But here, we will not see through graphically. We will see from the command prompt in the further classes. Next one, documentation. So here you have one PDF kind of one document you have here. You have hundreds of pages of the document you have not supposed to go through. Okay, you will get confused because multiple screenshot you have, better to not to go through. But the initial screenshot which they have given, just see that once. You will get one idea on that. Help. Any help if you need it on any document, any commands or else anywhere if you have stuck it, you will get the help on this. About this computer, I just click on this. If I go for this about this computer, can you see this icon? So this is the genome icon. I told you sometime back also from the command prompt, GNU it shows. So that Gnome Desktop icon this is. If you're using the KD Desktop, KD icon it shows. Okay, so the next one, localhost.local domain. This is my system name. Red Hat Enterprises Linux server, release version, kernel version, genome version you can see. After that, hardware details, I have the memory 1.8 GB I have taken. Processor, I have 12th generation Intel processor, it's having i5. So the next one, system status, availability space. After doing all the partitions, still I have 5.1 GB free space I have. So this is some basic details. This all whatever I said from the command prompt in the further classes that we will see. After about this computer, the next one we have the logout root. I just click on this. What is the command for the first one? Switch user. What is the command I'm asking? SU is the command and cancel and logout command. Exit. So already we have seen that in the yesterday's class we have seen. And the next option, the last one, you have the shutdown. So if you go for this and if you wanted to shut down and cancel and restart. So I just go for the command prompt. After the usage of the system, if you feel that you wanted to shut down, you have to go to the command that the init 0. Init 0 is the command to shut down the server. Even in the production environment, if you have such requirement, if they ask you to shut down the server, make sure you have to go for this command. Okay, you will get 100, you will get the multiple commands, you will get it in the Google, but you're not supposed to go for that. Okay, so for an example, I show you on command here. Power off. If you go for this command, you know what happens, and there is one more command still forcefully, -f for forcefully. If I enter now, so what happens that immediately I will get the blank window, I will get it. So for an example, assume that you are using the desktop. So when you're using the desktop, all of the sudden, if I'm going to switch off the power plug, what happens? It will go off itself. So immediately you will get the black window. People say that no. So don't directly switch off. And what you have to do, you have to shut down and it's going to kill all the process. Then you have to switch on the main plug. So why they tell that? Yeah, what is going to be the impact if you're yes, so first thing, operating system will be corrected. The second thing, the motherboard will go off. Okay, so that is the reasons that they tell that don't directly switch off the power plug. So here that what happens that the same function does this power off space -f. As soon as you execute this command, what happens? Immediately the black window, it has got shut down because many applications running, many databases are running on the server that may get corrupt. Okay, and sometimes the operating system may be corrupt. If it's get corrupt, it's a big loss. It will be impact for the production. Okay, so that is what, if you get any such requirement to shut down the server, make sure, remember, you have to go for the init 0 command. And in your day-to-day activity, when you're using your system, after practicing it, don't directly switch off that your Linux, close it off that the window. Okay, so now here that you have is it in the corner, don't close it. You have to run the init 0 command and shut down, then close the Oracle VirtualBox window. If you wanted to reboot the server, that you have to go for init6. Init6 is to reboot the server. See, sometimes that if you have the requirement to reboot it, you have to go for init6. If they ask you to shut down, init 0, you have to go for it. Got it, this command? Okay. So the next one, so after shutdown and reboot, so the next one you have on browser here, this is a graphical browser. And so in the further classes, we will see that what is the text browser we have. So after that one, notepad, volume management, network connectivity, battery backup, date and time, which user I have logged in. See, whatever the right side corner that we have the details, the same details in the Windows right side down corner you have. The network connectivity and volume management, date and time, that all you can see in the down corner you can see. The details which we have seen that in the top panel we have seen. And here that if you come to the workspace, you have the three icons you have: computer, root zone, and trash. And if you come to the down, you can see down panel. So you can see that the one terminal which I'm using it. And in this corner that you can see that the trash. After that, can you see that the workspace here? What is workspace? Where it's going to launch the fresh desktop for you to access the operating system. For an example, you can see that the highlighted with the blue color, the one which I'm using it now. Okay, so now here I just go for this terminal. Already I have run the couple of commands here in this terminal. I just open one more terminal. After opening the one more terminal, it is an empty terminal. I wanted to close this empty terminal. By mistake, if I'm going to close this, the command which is exist or some activity is going on, what happens? It's going to interrupt for that, is it? If you don't want to have any interruption for that, just right click and move to another workspace. I'm just moving the terminal for another workspace. See here, it's not there. So where it is then? You have to go to the second box, that is the second workspace. You can see that the terminal here. Don't think that it's a different system or different user. No, you're there in the same system, same user. It gives that fresh desktop for you to access the operating system. Okay, so now what is it the maximum can be configured? Just right click, go to the preferences. By default, they have set it here too. Now that the maximum can be configured, that is 36 workspaces can be configured. I just go for 36 and just close it. And now if you're going to see that in the down, can you see we have the multiple workspaces we have here. So what I'm going to do is just right click. I'm just going to preferences and I remove this and 4 and close. Now here we have the 4 workspaces we have here. Earlier I was having 2. Now you are able to see that the 4 workspace you can see. Okay, so this is how that graphically, if you wanted to access it, this is the way, these are all the options we have. Remember, so since it's the first unit that still we are in, so in the graphically, I have showed you where and all, what all the options we have, so that you can start compare with the Windows. You will get an idea. In the Windows that you are using for many years, is it? So you will get one idea. Okay, for the further concepts and the commands that whatever we are going to discuss, everything from the text mode we will use it. We will not come back to the graphical for any of the concept because it's a command-based operating system. If you're going to learn it in the graphical, no use. Okay. Any questions so far in this types of desktop, Gnome and KDE? Online guys? Okay. So online guys, if no questions, I'm just going to disconnect, logging back quickly. We will continue the same concept.